this is Shoshana Brigette from Color Karma. I am here today with Mike Scrutton from Adobe. How are you doing this
Hi,
Friday?
I'm doing very well. It's Friday.
It's Friday. So, we're here to talk about design to print. It was launched in November of last year, and you are launching version 1.2 today, correct?
Today, hot off the presses, you get the first peek.
Fabulous. So, tell us a little bit about this.
So we created Design to Print as a tool and as a concept about a year ago, where we really want to try and make it easy for designers to work with the idea of taking something off their screen and actually make it real. The idea we've had in the printing industry for the last 20, 30, 40 years digitally, ever since we had desktop publishing, was the idea was we might create something on the screen and somehow share it with people. We'd make it real. So we started off by printing stuff out on laser printers and sharing it with them. But in 2020, we've evolved a bit beyond that. We can make much more varied things. We could make birthday cards, flyers, masks, any number of amazing different things.
Cards. I got a mug behind here.
Right. I mean, I've got some pictures. I've got a tote bag. I've got a bleacher seat behind me. The idea though of getting an artwork that we've created, but then manufacturing it in the real world,
right,
is something we're now accustomed to. But it's still quite tricky. The way we've implemented this in industry is a little bit laborious, has lots of additional manual steps. And one of the problems you have when you are ordering, let's say, your mask or your birthday card, you're going to put your credit card down, or you're going to place an order. How do I know that the thing that I'm ordering is something that I'm going to like or happy that I paid with?
Right.
And traditionally, the way that works in the printing industry is, well, we do proofs and we have a long approval process to make sure that what we're ordering is actually what we want. But when we get to the idea of e-commerce in 2020, and particularly when we're doing small order runs, if I only want to create 5 of something, do I really want to take the time and money to create a proof for something, which I then might never order? It pushes up the price, it increases the time. So Design to Print is all about showing people what it is that they're going to get, literally, before they even place the order, before they put a credit card down, but make it super, super easy for people to actually take that artwork off the screen and actually make it in real life. How can I make my artistic work available for other people to buy?
Mm-hmm.
So we've integrated this into the story as well. Maybe you want to buy something with your artwork on, or maybe you want to offer it for sale for somebody else to purchase. And we've had a lot of people who are increasingly using the skills that they have, because they're users of a tool like Adobe Photoshop, for example, to share their artwork and allow other people to purchase that work. So that's all rolled into Adobe Design to Print.
And I mean, we've been doing desktop publishing for ages, and I don't know if everybody understands that, we print cards, we print marketing material, we print direct mail, but your credit cards, those are anything with these images, these mugs, tote bags, we're just printing, and we're either printing directly to the product and kind of curing it, or we print on some type of transfer that moves it to the product. There's two different ways. But it's basically designing for manufacturing.
It is exactly that, Shoshana. I think this is where we've seen the printing industry has evolved. We used to use the word printing because that's what we were used to doing before. It was replacing wood and lead type and all that sort of thing, and we were doing printing. But as we see it in 2020, we're doing manufacturing, right? If I'm creating a mug, did I print a mug? Well, technically, does it meet the textbook definition of printing? Yeah. But that's not how a lot of people will see it. I'm just making a mug. We're makers.
Correct.
Right? And we're participating in a manufacturing supply chain, but in a different way to the way we did it in the past. The way we would have done this in the past is we would have come up with a design, we would have shared it with somebody, they would have printed it, they probably would have printed tens or hundreds of thousands of this thing, put it in a warehouse. Eventually somebody would buy an inventory from the warehouse, put it in a store, people would come into a store, and maybe they would choose the mug that you had designed some time ago and take it home, and then they have it. And one of the things that the digital revolution has given us is the ability to collapse that in complete supply chain. So there's no risk involved with taking my design and offering it for sale on a website. It costs me my time, nothing else, no other investment. But somebody else who might see that and say, oh, I really like that design that Mike came up with, might choose to come in and purchase that and give it a home and give me some money for my time.
Yeah, and it's nice because a lot of people can do experimentation. A lot of people can do prototyping, whether or not they work for a big corporation. But even if they're starting at home or want to test something out or do an Etsy or test a market that's local,
Yeah.
short runs, 3, 4, 5, even 100. They're now no longer, minimum orders of 1,000 or 500 are no longer required. And
Yeah, exactly. I was at a supply chain conference, actually trade show last August in Las Vegas, and I was showing off some of the software that we were creating, and somebody came along to me and said, "So what's the minimum order?" And first of all, I didn't quite understand what the question was, because it was completely out of left field. I wasn't anticipating it. But this was somebody who was in the supply chain. He's used to not being able to buy anything in orders of less than 100,000.
yeah,
Right? And this was an eye opener. It's like, one? What do you mean one? How do you do it for one? And it was a long conversation. But it's really quite revolutionary in terms of and some of us take this for granted because we're used to doing this with e-commerce and online websites. There are plenty of websites. If you wanted to have your business stationery created, you want to create a business card.
Yep.
You can go to a website, you can type in your name and address, you can upload a JPEG of your logo, and you can have them shipped to your door in a couple of days. And you'll be happy with the business cards you get. And you could have ordered probably as few as 50. Right, from many websites, and so what we're doing here is somewhat related to that. But what we've done with design to print as a concept is think of this as more than just a website. Right, we're designers. We've learned all these amazing skills. We've got these very powerful tools that allow us to create very, very complex designs. We apply layers and blend effects and masks and filters and all the clever stuff we do as designers, but still actually want to be able to order that or see how this would work rather than just uploading a JPEG to a website, right?
And just to reiterate, it is a minimum order, in case anybody's asking, of one.
Right.
Just one.
And you know what? And there's no cost involved in making it available and nobody buying it.
Exactly.
Right? You're not out of pocket if nobody buys it. So there are some people who say we just keep throwing things at the wall and see what sticks, right?
Yep.
And it's not that different in many ways. And yet there are people making thousands, tens of thousands of dollars this way, generating very nice incomes from work that they've created by sharing it with people and making it available for others to purchase and to customize. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on.
Okay. So let's see this new demo of you.
All right. Here we go. So here we are within Adobe Photoshop. This is the current version of Photoshop. We support Adobe Design to print as long as you're a subscriber to the Creative Cloud products. And there's a handy natty web address here, which is where you would go and get Adobe Design to print. This takes us to an adobe.com website. Here it is. This is the web page, tells you all about design to print. You can read about it and watch videos and stuff like that. But the important thing is that this is a free extension to Photoshop. You click this button here, takes you to this little page, which is where you get the plugin. There's a button here which for you will say free in the first instance. I've already installed this once I've acquired it, so it says install for me. But you click on here, and automatically what will happen is that it will be added to your Creative Cloud account. You can see I'm signed in to my CC account here because I've got my little photo in the corner of the screen. So if you're not signed in to your Adobe CC account, it will ask you for your Adobe ID and password. But you're logged in. It knows then you have purchased Design to Print for free.
Right.
And it will automatically get installed as a plugin to Photoshop without you having to do anything else. What will happen then is it will show up on this window menu here that you have within Photoshop. If you go Window and Extensions, you will see Adobe Design to Print as an option. And here it is. Look, I've opened it as it's a palette. It just appears with any of your other docking palettes that you might have in Photoshop that you're familiar with. You can park it somewhere on your screen, as I have. You could drag it to a second monitor, whatever you like. And you get started using the plugin by pressing this button here, which says Create New Design to Print Project. And then what we're going to see is a list of all the different types of products that you could create. You can see all sorts of things here. What have we got? These are some accessories. So we've got some bandanas and luggage tags and backpacks, watches, cases. I mean, all types of things in all types of different categories, from apparel
socks
to
cell
phone cases, invitations. Even playing cards. What we're going to do today, in fact, I'm going to show you one I created earlier, is create a Christmas card, because and the reason we do that at this time of year is we've got plenty of time to design, rather than having the pressure of designing something just for the holiday season, just in time. So by doing a design now, we can offer it for sale over the summer and use our social media to promote it. And then in the fall, when people are buying for the holiday season, they can literally just buy it from the website. So good time to be, never too early to think of Christmas. So I've sort of found this card. I mean, I actually cheated. I typed the word card. There's a search box here, so I can reduce the number of things to find what I wanted. And I can press this create button. And actually what will happen then is it will create a blank document for me with the right dimensions according to the product that I've created. So what we're going to see here is a blank card. It's created 4 artboards for me here. These are just traditional Adobe Photoshop artboards. 1 for the front cover, 2 for the inside of the card, and then 1 for the back. And in the design to print panel here, you're seeing a rendering. It's a little bit difficult to see because we've got a white card on a white background, but this will make more sense as we go forward. You're seeing different renderings of how this card looks from different angles. Okay? And then on the right-hand side here, this is my regular layers panel that we're all used to. Basically, this is how we can see the 4 different artboards and the different layers. And while we're designing, we're going to use all of the regular features that we have within Photoshop that we would typically use. You know, all the tools are on the left-hand side, all the palettes are there. We basically go away, be the wonderful designers that we are, and create some really exciting content. We could go away and we could go and get some content from maybe some libraries that I've got. So let's take, for example, some background. So we're going to create some sort of design here, which is a motif of a holiday wreath and maybe some additional wood paneling, and make something which is a little bit rustic. That's what we're going to go for. So if I were a designer, and I'm not, they let me try it every now and again, I would just go away and do what I would regularly do. In this case, I'm placing a little bit of art. It's very, very small. We'll make that bigger. I will go to view and fit artboard on screen to make it bigger. And I can go away and start combining the different elements in my design here to build up some sort of composite effect of what I might like in my card. You don't want to watch me design. So in true Blue Peter fashion, and your British viewers will understand what that means, I have here one I prepared earlier. So if I click on this tab over here, we'll see this version of the card. What you're seeing while we're making changes is that the rendering of the card that you see on the right-hand side, that's being updated in real time. So you saw as I dragged in that wood panel and as I dragged in that wreath, we saw how that would appear on a finished card while I'm going along. We don't have to have that happening in real time. If I'm doing individual brush strokes, I might not want to see every single change I make. I've got a little toggle here. I can turn the auto update on and off. And there's a manual refresh if I want that too. But basically what you can see is that I can go through and I can create something that's decorative. And maybe this is my finished card. Maybe I'm happy with this. I go away and I do my amazing designer stuff. When I was finished, all I would need to do would be to click this button here that says publish. And what we do when we publish, I'll explain this in a second. What we do when we publish is we basically gather up all the information about your design, package it all up, put it into exactly the right format, and push it to the cloud, because that's really where the e-commerce side of this thing is going to happen. What you see now is my web browser, and up on my web browser has popped this particular web page where we can start thinking about buying the product. Now, we've done this in conjunction with our friends at Zazzle. Zazzle.com is a website which allows people to publish their work and order it. Now, in this particular case, I've got a couple of options. I can throw it away. I could go and buy this card. Simple, it's an e-commerce site, so exactly the sort of thing you would expect to do. I could go and buy it for myself, or I could sell it. If I chose to sell this card, then basically I would be offered the opportunity to say, what would my commission be? What would my revenue share be? How much would I like to get as a markup? So I could say, for example, I'd like 10% of this card to be paid to me as a royalty. So that means every card that was sold at $3.25, I'd get 32.5 cents as a designer. if somebody were to come along and buy it. Yeah, and I can't promise that just because you publish a design that somebody's going to buy it. I can't promise personally to come and buy everybody's design.
Right.
My corporate credit card is maxed out already. Obviously, somebody coming to Zazzle.com might discover your card. You've also got the ability to share it on your own Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest feeds. You can get some links. So if you've got a good design that you want other people to be aware of, they've provided all the tools here so that you can promote this using your own channels, your own website, or something else. You can even go as far as creating your own little store here. So a landing page coming here, people can discover all the different things that it is that you've designed.
Okay.
Maybe you've got this design on a card. Maybe you've also put it on a table runner or a poster or a mug or something else. So you can imagine this expanding. So that's the general principle of how the publishing and the editing works. What I wanted to show you was actually something a little bit more powerful, and I'm going to do that by jumping ahead a couple of steps. So we just created this individual card.
Okay.
By adding a couple of layers to the template with our text and our wreath and our background images of these 3 layers. Now, there's a couple of things that we can do here to make this a little bit more powerful. And one thing we can do is group these layers and see how somebody who came to your site might choose to come and customize it. So let's see how that works.
Now we're talking about design to print of one, and that might be for me or a prototype, but now you're talking about design to print where other customers on a website can customize something you have designed, where you are also now making some form of licensing or commission on this.
Absolutely. So what I want to be able to enable is a project a bit like this, right? So this was this is my Christmas card from last year. Maybe it's 2 years ago. They all blur together after a while, don't they? But this, I mean, I'm not artistic. I didn't create the layout. I didn't create the fancy script. I didn't insert, the words in here. But I did provide, my family photos, because after all, why would you send a photo which has got somebody else's mugshot on it, right? So this is one of the things we want to be able to enable as well. Allow a designer to come in with a unique design for, in this case, a Christmas card, but then allow somebody who's purchasing it to actually tweak it or personalize it slightly so that they get something which actually somehow uses your design skills but is still personal to them. What I'm showing you now is basically the same design. I made a couple of very, very subtle changes. You'll notice down in the layers palette, but I've actually put some of the layers in groups. So the background wood effect is now in a layer group called background.
Okay.
And the work that I did on my wreath is in a layer group called Wreath Frame. And my Season's Greetings is in another group called Season's Greetings. Okay?
Okay.
When I publish this version of the file, because I've done this grouping, then the plugin gives me this option to say object level upload. And what the difference between what we did previously in a flattened image and the object level upload is that the object level upload preserves these as discrete objects.
Those 3 layers.
Exactly. So previously what we did was we just flattened the image down and pushed a nice image of the wreath and the Season's Greetings and the wood as one monolith, as it were. Now what we see when we push this version of the design to the website is there's this little button here that says edit. Okay. And you'll see these individual groups have come in as separate layers.
Right.
So we've actually repeated the concept of these being separate objects actually on the website. So for example, let's say I have got somebody who comes in and they don't want to say Season's Greetings, right? Because they find the word Season's Greetings offensive for some reason. I don't know. Then they could turn that off and still buy it in whatever quantities they wanted to. You could also use this as a way of uploading variations on a design and offering multiple products to sell. So maybe you want to upload one that says Season's Greetings in the top left, Happy Holidays in the top right, Merry Christmas in the bottom left, or something like that. Upload it as one design, which are all consistent, and you can just go in and toggle on and off those layers on the website, and then sell those different variations. So it's a very efficient way of uploading multiple designs and selling those variations as separate products, or as even allowing your customer to do the same thing.
And so what you showed us before, though, that was a Zazzle that was on the browser. So you're allowing people to edit things that you are selling, that you designed and designed to print, and now you're giving your potential customers and audience the opportunity to further edit that.
Exactly. Now, as an opportunity, I don't have to. It's my choice whether I make this editable or not. When you sell it, you can say, I'm locking everything down. I don't want my masterpiece to be afflicted by the whims of my customer, because after all, I am a fantastic artiste and thou shalt not touch my thing. You can do that. And of course you would do that. And if you were a major brand and you really wanted this to look like this, then absolutely have at it. It's enabling you via this mechanism to maybe increase your sales by allowing somebody else to tweak a particular product before they buy it.
Okay.
Entirely up to you. Entirely up to you how you let people interact with your particular product.
Fabulous.
Okay. Now, what we did here was we allowed somebody to. This was the original design we uploaded, and actually, if I hit that edit design, you'll see everything was just one image. So I can't customize this. I can't turn off and on the season's greetings, for example. But when I went to this later version that I uploaded, the edit shows you how these appear as different independent options that I can toggle on and off as I see fit.
And that's where customers can also toggle on and off.
Exactly. All right. Now we've done that, we can actually go one step further. All right. We can imagine the idea of this is a generic card. Maybe anybody would like, I might send this card, you might send this card. But what if you wanted to do something like we saw with my family Christmas card? How would we enable something like this?
Mm-hmm.
So this version of the file, I've spent a little bit more time designing this. What I have done is I have gone into Photoshop. I've added some more elements. If I zoom in, fit the artboard on the screen, here we go. I've added a little gift tag down here. I've put a photo in. This is a nice, happy, smiling family, perfect smiles, high dentistry costs. We've even put their names on the little tag here. So this is now quite a personal card.
Very nice.
That we have. Yeah. And we've done a little bit more work as well. We've put some more graphics on the inside. Here's some sprinkle of some more festive stuff. There's a nice cheesy message because we're going to make this available to everybody. And again, Penny, Charlie, and Peter have signed it as well, and a little motif on the back. So this is kind of more like a finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all we did to achieve this was just carry on that same design routine. We added some more layers in, we did some more groupings. You'll notice here that I've marked some of them. The tag is a particular group. The season's greetings is a particular group. The Penny, Charlie, and Peter reference, again, is another little group. And actually, the photo is another group here as well. All right. So these objects have been combined into different elements. And of course, what's going to happen when I publish this is exactly the same thing as last time. We'll do this object level upload. We'll take these individual groups of elements, and you'll notice some of these layer groups have multiple things inside them. So it's not like we can get as creative as we like within Photoshop. We just sort of put everything in a little group to make it something which is what we want to export. And that's right. What that layer group is doing. When we publish that and we see that on the website, we see our product just as we expected. And as you can imagine, we hit the edit design button, and these things are all independent and editable. Well, they're independent. I jump ahead. So we've got the season's greetings there still. There's our wreath frame. There's the photo we have in the middle. There's the names here. Now, this is partway there, but to be honest, if somebody were actually wanting to come and purchase this card, they'd really have to go into this editor and do a whole bunch of work. They'd have to delete the Penny, Charlie, and Peter, and they'd have to create a text box, and they'd have to choose a font, and they'd have to put it in this position. Oh, and now they want to replace the photo. Well, they have to work out, well, where's the photo in my design here? How do I upload a new one? Blah, 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 blah. It's a little bit, you're making your customer do the work that you should be doing as a designer, right? Okay. We don't want to do that. We want to make it really, really super easy, because after all, you want them to land at a page a little bit like this, where all they have to do is come in and add it to the cart. So there's one last thing, and this is the brand new feature, which is the pièce de résistance of the Adobe Design to Print version 1.2. Brand new this week. What you can do as a designer, and remember, we can lock all this stuff down so that the user doesn't actually have the ability to edit these things and muck around under the hood. All I need to do here is go in to this layer. You see where it's called photo here? I'm going to change the name of the layer. I'm actually going to put angle brackets around it, little less than and greater than signs around the word photo. And I'm going to go in up here to the layer which says from, which is where our names, Penny, Charlie, and Peter are are labeled, and I'm going to put little angle brackets around here as well. Less than and greater than. And what we're doing when we make these little changes to these individual layers is we're telling the software that these are template layers. Right? These are layers that I want to have customizable. You know what I'm going to do as well? On the inside page here, Penny, Charlie, and Peter's names are here as well.
Right.
I'm actually going to go in there and change that from there. So it's put a little less than sign there and a greater than sign at the end.
And those brackets are things that we have seen both in personalization on HTML, personalization in print. It's just how people flag, you know, place name here, place address here.
Exactly, exactly. So hopefully this is a concept that people are familiar with. We just sort of extended it to this, but we're using that to tell the software and tell the website that, aha, this is going to be an area for personalization, these particular objects. Now, what the software is going to do is actually take that information and encode that into the design that's been uploaded. So now here we have our same Christmas card, and I could go in and hack it around, but this is now really closer for me publishing it. We've now made the act of personalization super easy. If your customer comes along and says, personalize, not edit, personalize, then they are going to be given the option to change a couple of little things, really, really simply. So if I wanted to say, Mike, Amy, and think of another name, Alex.
Alex.
There we go. Then you'll notice as I type their names in here, the names on the gift tag changed automatically. All right, without any additional work. I haven't got to learn an editing interface. It's a really, really simple way of just changing a bit of text in the design. Very, very simple. All right. Further, I could just click this button here where my photo was uploaded. If I hit that and I go and choose to upload an image, here's a photo I have earlier, another square image. So maybe this is an image of me and my family. Okay. One of these people have been left out, but never mind. Right. I can as a customer, I can very easily drop my own photo into the design. So now rather than buying a Christmas card with the stock family on it, this is now my family. For some reason, one of my kids isn't being named, but you know, Ben. Let's put Ben in there as well. All right, so everybody gets a credit, and that's now ready for for somebody to go and purchase, to go and buy a number of copies of and purchase. Even the flag on the inside says Mike, Amy, Alex, and Ben as well, because we flagged both of these fields as being from, and they appear in multiple places. We'll replace the text in those multiple places as well. So it's a really powerful way of allowing your customer to come and personalize your design. It's available today. All you need to do is go to adobe.com/go/design to print. It's a free plugin for Adobe Photoshop.
And you must have Creative Cloud for Photoshop.
Absolutely. You either have an individual product, individual Photoshop subscription, or a full Creative Cloud subscription, or if you have a photography suite subscription as well, they all come with a copy of Photoshop.
Okay, so it's all the subscription based Photoshop.
Absolutely.
All the Photoshop.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
And then it automatically puts the plugin into the software.
Absolutely.
You're ready to go and start designing your Christmas cards.
Absolutely. Your Christmas cards. Now, we did Christmas cards here, and this was the idea of doing a personalized product. We needn't have done a Christmas card or even done paper goods. We could have done something of fashion, some apparel, some home goods, anything you like, cell phone cases, anything you like.
Right.
And you can imagine this being quite powerful. You know, you may well have some great art inspiration where you want to put characters on a mug or on a T-shirt, for example. Very easy way of doing that. But adding that little layer of personalization, which for certain products can really help your product sell.
Oh, fabulous. Mike, thank you so much. I am so excited to be tinkering with this weekend.
All right, you'll be very busy. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much for your time, and Merry Christmas and almost happy summer.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk next time. I think we're going to do another one and do masks next time.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Oh, let's do that. I'll see you next time.